Is it good for you?
I've had better.
We're going to be diving into our first time with one Steve Martin. Now, this is a segment where we basically describe the first time we encountered a filmmaker, an actor, director, etc., and how our view evolved over time from that very first impression. Kyle, do you remember your first flirtation with Steve Martin?
Yeah, that's not awkward. You know, I'm going to say I always knew him as that white-haired guy, you know, when I was younger, because the dude has eternally had white hair. I don't know if he had white hair in his 30s or what's going on there, but he's had white hair for a long, long time. I think we can agree on that.
It definitely separated him from the bunch.
Yeah, no question. I'm trying to place where exactly it would have been. I would have come across him first. I mean, one has to think about if it was Three Amigos. I never saw LA Story, but I remember a lot of people hyping it up when I was a kid and that being a big deal at the time.
It's one of my favorites that he's done. If not, maybe my favorite.
At the end of the day, I remember him in Roxanne doing basically the modern American version of Cyrano de Bergerac. But
with a happier ending. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, to say the least. But I'm going to say that my real first time taking in the complicated cocktail that is Steve Martin would be by way of Nick at Night and seeing his involvement in the old school Saturday Night Live episodes. You know, back when it was still funny.
He's hosted. He's second for the record. He's second only to Alec Baldwin. He's hosted it like 15 times.
Well, of course he did. I mean, you know, I can't speak for Alec Baldwin why he's there, but yeah, man. I mean, this guy. This is up there with let's say like Rick Moranis or Eugene Levy and John Candy with SCTV, you know, except, you know, John Candy's dead. The Wild and Crazy Guys sketch with Dan Aykroyd, the King Tut song, which now is being called politically incorrect because people have no sense of humor.
That's still an awesome song. He does a blues riff now of it. Or bluegrass version of it, should I say? Big difference.
Bluegrass? What?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's been moonlighting in his retirement years as a bluegrass player. He still plays the banjo.
That's called talent when you can do that much, my friend. But I mean, when it comes to cinema, his foremost role in my mind, not the first one, but the foremost. I got to say the thing that I would probably hold him in the most regard for is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh, we covered that. Definitely required viewing. I think we agreed on that one.
Yes, absolutely required viewing, and I believe the reason I gave was because I dare you to find me a better Thanksgiving movie. You can't. Don't worry.
My first time is complicated. It all starts with, David Niven.
Your first time involved some wicked three-way with you, David Niven, and Steve Martin. Okay, go ahead.
I swear this isn't a joke. I hope
it is, but keep going.
I saw a movie a long time ago. Of course, I mentioned last week that I discovered David Niven through a film called The Pink Panther.
Indeed.
And I started following his career, and I came across this movie called Bedtime Story, which is, I think, very difficult to find nowadays, that stars Marlon Brando and David Niven. Well, I like the film a lot, and I noticed that there was a remake that was done in the 1980s with Steve Martin playing the Marlon Brando role and Michael Caine playing the David Niven role. That movie was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Scoundrels, yes. I the last time I saw that movie, I was a tyke, but when you mentioned that duo, I was right there. You know, by the way, you mentioning Marlon Brando and Steve Martin in the same breath, you got a very silly thought in my head. All I can think of is, Do you know what a plethora is? No, Don Corleone. Do you know what a plethora is? I can't. Anyway,
that's one way Three Amigos. All right, Marlon Brando showed up as the singing, the Invisible Cowboy. He wouldn't even have to show up or lose weight for it. Anyway.
By the way, side note, did you know that Randy Newman himself is the singing Bush in that movie? That's crazy.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Which I also, it's kind of funny that David Niven introduced me, oddly enough, to Steve Martin after starring the Pink Panther, and then many years later, Steve Martin was starring the remake of the Pink Panther,
which I wanted no part of, by the way.
No, I love Steve Martin. Not a big fan of the remake. It's Peter Sellers. You know, that's royalty at that point. But after Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, I was also at the time I had seen National Lampoon's Vacation, so I was also following the career of Chevy Chase, and
sure.
That obviously brought me to the Three Amigos, followed by Father of the Bride. I think the last film that I saw in theaters with Martin that I really enjoyed, although it was atypical of his wild and crazy guy comedies, was a film that was based on one of his own novellas, Shop Girl.
Mark, Demos, I need to tell you something. And it's very important that I tell you this. My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. My little buttercup. I hope she stays a while. Okay, I'm done.
I really want to turn that into my ringtone. That would be if we start a Patreon, I'll have to make that ringtone and make it.
Oh, you know who really should sing that song? My little buttercup has the sweetest smile. Anyways.
I think I'll go with Vito's version. It's just, it sounds awesome and yet threatening at the same time. I mean, it's an offer I literally can't refuse.